Let's play some more in our junk journals. Hello and welcome to the treasured page. I'm Melanie and this is our quiet crafting space. Today I'm having a look at the junk journal July prompts, and I left last time with number 13 and then this is number 14. So now I'm on number 15 of the prompts, and that is homemade. Next one is going to be number 16, Petal, and number 17, aged. And free is today, so there's 4 to do. And I'm just working in the junk journal, which was made out of some flyers that came through the post, and I then covered it in fabric. And these pages can be removed. There's an elastic there so I can bind them into something else if I want to, or I can bind them into this journal. And I can put a second insert in there with writing space if I want to. This is just for inspiration. It's just ideas, a little bit of fun, a little bit of freedom within a junk journal, just playing around with scraps and seeing what comes out of the prompts, because it challenges you and it helps me to sort of think about things in a different way. So I'm just taking this, which looks a little bit like wallpaper to me. I want to cover up this grunge background here, and I'm thinking that I'm going to be using this. This was homemade using an eco dye, and it was originally started out as avocado dye that I'd simmered in some hot water to create a pink dye, which was like that. And then I added in some rusty nails, which turned the dye into this dark and saddened grey colour, which actually is very vintagey. So I'm going to use that because I've got a vintage vibe on this page here. So I think that this works, and I also liked this image from Clee Black Creations digital kit, which was from the Roaring 20s Glamour Girls. All right, so that's Glamour Girls, and I had a couple of those floating around, so I thought I would maybe add this here onto this pocket. I just like how this works with her sparkly jewels. I think that just looks quite nice, so I'm thinking that that's going to be my homemade. So I'm going to make a pouch, but I just want to get this backdrop right. I don't need all of this, and I want to maybe put some more down here, so I'm going to tear out some, maybe like, I think I'll have an L shape here, and then this bit's going to be covered. You'll see what I mean in a moment. So if I just remove that bit, so I've still got a scrap, then that gives me this border, and I'm going to put the pouch there, which I'm going to stick down. So I'm just utilising this scrap of paper and making it work a bit harder for me so that I can use the remaining bit there to stick at the bottom. So now I'm going to put this piece here, and we'll patchwork that piece in there. So that will now be like that, and it's just a little bit of a, I can just now see that there's a scrap left over. I'm going to glue this down. So I just want this to be really quick, but I might go to the sewing machine just to secure it on. I could hand stitch it as well, but I think for ease and for speed, I'm just going to do this. I quite like that that's not straight, so I'm going to leave it like that. I think I will emphasize that now by sewing round it. Okay, this has sewn on quite nicely. I've got some copper thread in the sewing machine at the moment, so that was nice. I've just done that, and brings in a bit of a metallic there. Okay, so I've put some fabric glue on there, and I'm wanting to put this down here. I'm just adding a bit of glue onto the bottom here so that I can turn up the fabric and create a little lip or rim, so that that's now a nice sealed edge, and then that can come up and just simply be like that. And then this is going to flip down over the top, but what I don't want is it to come down too far, so I could either turn it in and do that, but I don't think that works. So I'm just going to, I think think I'm just going to take a little bit off here. So we just remove that. There we go. So this was 100% cotton. It was a sheet and it's now a pocket. Then I'm just gluing this down onto the page. Okay, I've got these little letters that make up words when you piece them all together. So I'm going to stamp homemade on my strip of fabric. This was an avocado dye, I believe. So I'm going to use that. So I'll just do the word home first of all. That looks nice. And then we'll just make homemade. So we just need to get the letters in position and then adding the next part because I needed to use the M twice, so we're now just trying to line that up. Probably be a bit wonky, but I think that will be part of the fun. There we go, homemade, and that can come down here. And then I might, because I've got a little bit of room, be able to put the number, if I've got any numbers. I haven't got the numbers. I've got these little stickers, I'm not sure. So I'm not sure where I'm putting that. Maybe I think I might have that up there now with a little eyelet, so we'll do that. And I've just found these stickers with this number on it, so I'm going to stick that down there, just for no other reason than it just fills in and we've got a lot of numbers going on. And then we want to have this number, which was 15. I'm going to have it over this way. Hopefully that'll work. This is a waterproof ink, so that's great. That's worked. Hopefully it hasn't seeped through. No, perfect. And then I think I'll just have that in there. Okay. That's great. Okay, I'm pleased with that because that adds a little bit of weight so it wants to shut. It's just quite fun. So that's how that looks, and then this flips down. Fun. And I might just add in, I've got this little piece of paper here with a bird on it, so I'm just going to add that in just to stick that on there like that. Got some nice scrap pieces here, so I'm going to add that in as well. And just to tidy up this edge here where I've got my stitching, I'm going to add a piece of vintage lace, which I've got here, and that can come in like that. There we go, and then that can all fold up, and there we have it. Homemade, all done, all sewn up, number 15. Great, that was fun. Right, let's do the next one. So I'm now going to move on to the next prompt, which I believe is number 16, and that's Petal. Well, if we look at this, we've got this bit down here, and these sort of, to me, look like branches, and where this pink splodge has come through, I'm thinking petals. So I'm thinking maybe cherry blossom or cherry tree, and I'm wondering if I could make that into a tree. Right, let's work on this now. Okay, I'm going to work on this with a fine tip pen and just see if I can follow the crease lines and put in sort of branches and see what we can come up with. Just going over what's already there, just emphasising it a bit and sort of imagining that this is branches of a cherry tree, and just emphasizing all of this very loosely, just seeing where we can take this idea. And then what I'll do is I think I'll get the paint out and find the pink paint. Trust me to pick the pen that's not working. Okay, pen seems to have died on me already. Alright, we're trying again with this one. That's a bit better. Okay, let's think branches. Branches of the tree. maybe coming out here. This one, just sort of get it to make a bit of sense. Something like that. Bring it up here. Just very loose, just making it up really, not thinking about it, just dragging the pen about, thinking about a tree. This is where the branches would come, so we'll come off of this central bit here and something like that. Okay, now let's look at it a bit better and start making some of these a bit thicker. Just want some nice pink paint that reminds me of cherry blossom. Okay, I've got some paints here. I'm just going to put some down, dip this in. This is gouache paint, gouache. I'm just going to just make a bit more of my branches really. I didn't want them too literal, so I'll just put some on. I quite liked my little ink drawing, so I'll just do a few bits here, flick that about a bit. And then it's all going to be about the pink. So I'm going to start off with some cerise and just start dotting it about. So I want just the sense that this is absolutely laden with blossoms. Might like a little bit more of this brown down here. I would just we'll bring that tree part up into the design a bit more. Alright, and now I'm going to dab in my lighter colour. And then I will bring in this paler baby pink here. Okay, so I've put this back into the journal now. That's how it's looking. We can see we've got a number 1 up there, so I might put the prompt number up there and tie in. I found a little quote here saying, "The most beautiful thing in the world is, of course, the world itself." And that is from Wallace Stevens, so I think that that can come and live in there. I'm just going to tear the edge and I'll just bring that down there like that. I'm going to stamp on my number 6 for 16, prompt 16. So this is prompt 16 for Petal. Let's get the black ink again. So this is number 16, I'm just going to add it to this scrap here. And then I'll tear that down. Just come and live there. And that will work as the number. I'm just going to staple that on in a very junk journal fashion. And there we go, I'm really pleased with that. We can't say that we didn't try with the pink challenge for this journal, so I'm really happy. And then the next one is going to be aged, and I think that better come and be on this page, which is already looking aged. Okay, for aged I'm going to stick with this fabric that I've got here, which is a really old piece and it has got some age damage spots on there, like water damage. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to glue that down and just tip in this piece because it's just lovely, and I think as I turn this page I'm going to be able to see the lace trim there, and that's going to work nicely. So I'm going to just glue this in onto this page, background page, which is aged anyway, and that was using coffee, tea and also I sprayed on some iron water, and aging is very simply done by putting down things that are vintage and old. So I'm just going to do that, stick with what I know, not make it any more complicated, and just enjoy the process. So I'm going to tear down this piece, putting in some creases, and then I can have that up there now. Okay, I'm gluing this down onto the fabric as well, and now this creates a flip. I've got a piece of this nice cotton. I'm just going to give that an aged effect as well by putting the ink over the top of it, and that just muddies it up. It really does make that look very old, like it needs a good wash. So I'm going to add that in there. Okay, so I'm just putting down this bird. I think this bird has come from Louisa Heinzel's Fussy Cut Birds. Okay, we'll have some brown ink on these ones just to mimic what's on here. This is number 17 prompt. I'm just going to add that there. That's fine. Definitely bringing in some older vintage things has been the quickest and easiest way to age something. So that is what I'm doing here. I'm just putting in this lace samples in a nice stepped fashion there. Just allow that to be a step down, sort of brings that down, draws that down there. And then when I turn this, we have got that, and it just complements this spread that we did earlier, so everything connects, and I love that. That's really great. So the bird could have been in the tree. It's now on this vintage aged background. We can age it a little bit more just by taking our dark ink. So I've got ground espresso oxide. I can just emphasize the tops of that. It's very old vintage lace anyway, so that's really nice. I might just tether that bit down there. Just put a little bit of glue there just to keep that in place. Perhaps a little bit of ink just on this bit just to age up along here. There we go. That's looking suitably grungy, and along the top as well, just to age it up there as well. There we are. There we are. So that is that spread. I think that those are all working really nicely. So we've got 16 and 17 there. That, of course, was 15 today. So that brings us up to speed. And today's prompt is number 18, and then we've got 19 tomorrow. So number 18 is free, and then 19 is a tag. Well, I don't think I've got time for the tag, but I might have time for the free. So I'm thinking maybe lift this up, possibly want something there. So this summer label from Clee Black Creations can just come and be here, I think. So I'm just going to add that in there. Just something to look at as we turn the page. And then I found a little homemade label that I've got here, so I'm going to add that. I think we'll go this way with it. So I might be able to put the number on there for this prompt. I think what I want to do is put it inside here. Okay, I've got some matte medium collage glue. I'm going to take a paintbrush and I'm going to put down some tissue paper onto here. That's it. And I'll just put that over there. So we're being free with this project. Like that. We're being free, so we're going to come in and use some scraps on here, and I want to really just take away some of the numbers because it's not June, it's July. And what else? Very cool. Just getting the scraps out and allowing us to be free to play. got a bit of packaging here with some ink on it. I'm just going to stick that down here. And then this piece here, which is from an old vintage map, so we'll put that down as well. You can see, just age the edge slightly there as well. Okay, so to be free, I'm going to use the inspiration over here, and I'm going to do some foliage. So bring in our guide. So I want it to be ending here. I've got this sort of plant here, and it's just a loose leaf image coming in here. Good. And then I'll go and find my green paint. Okay, so I've got my paint. I've got a little bit of brown. I'm going to bring up that dark stem idea, like that. And then I'm going to add a bit of my water to allow that to bleed. And then I'm going to take the green and just start loosely putting down a suggestion of the colour. This water-soluble paint just to disperse. That's it, nice and free. And then we'll just do that with the water and just get it to move about a bit. Right, while we're waiting for that to do its thing, I'm going to just make this into a label. This was from an earlier piece. I've got a fancy stamping, I've got a fancy corner thing. I wonder if this might do something nice. Oh, that's quite good, isn't it? And we'll do the same on the other side. Turn our scraps into something good. There we go. That's interesting. Oh, made a right mess. Alright, I'm just going to set that over there to dry. I've got a bit of a gap there and I've got this tape, so we'll just do something with this if we can. So this is Scotch tape, invisible tape. I'm just going to age it here. Okay, and I've got the stamp here with a moth, so we're just going to put that on here like that, and then just a little bit on the bottom there. I think that will be great. And that's a nice little trick for the altered tape there from Pink Monarch Prints, so thank you very much for that. Maybe a partial stamp of a butterfly. This is a Tim Holtz stamp, so maybe just a little bit of the wing coming in there. Why not? That's great. I love it. There we go. Loose, freeing, just a bit of fun. Perfect. And then that will all fold in when it's dry. Okay, so that's going to come and live in there and be like that. So there we go. That is everything today. So let's just recap. So we had number 15, which was homemade, and we did this. We did the petal, which was number 16, and that was the blossom tree and the quote. This was aged for prompt number 17 with the bird, everything linking in, all the aged little pieces of lace there, which is a flip up, and then we've got this, and then here we've got this extra piece which now turns over, flips out, and that was the very free, very loose, still very soggy, which I'll leave to dry in a minute, but that is all going to come and live in there like that. It's been a lot of fun. Thank you very much for joining me today. Do please give me a like and a thumbs up. Leave a comment below if you'd like to ask any questions or just say hello. Tell me what country you're watching from. I always appreciate reading your words of kindness, and do please catch up with me on my next video. So above everything else, guys, just slow down and make crafting time for you. Bye bye now.